Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming back to the podcast. Today's special guest is Mr. JB Sauceda, the next host of the long-running and much appreciated show, The Texas Country Reporter. JB, good to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we were talking shortly before the interview, just a few minutes ago, about a press release announcing you coming on board with the show, and the show's ran over 50 years. So let's break down this next chapter in your life, and also the next chapter, upcoming chapter of the Texas Country Reporter. Who is JB Sauceda, and how did you get involved with storytelling, modern digital storytelling, at least?
I grew up southeast of Houston in LaPorte, Texas, and I guess the earliest storytelling would have been the my high school theater and being really involved with that. But the thing that most people know me for was my photography career, which I spent about 10 years as a commercial and editorial photographer. So I traveled all over the state, recording and capturing some of the most amazing people and characters that you can imagine. And through that, got a reputation nationally as the guy that covers West Texas and some of the small Texas town life. And probably halfway through my career, I started shooting for Texas Monthly and did a few different pieces. One in particular was a portrait of someone who was involved with the Alamo. And then I would say maybe a year after the first job that I did there, I was getting my pilot's license, and the photo editor there at the time reached out and she said, "Hey, we've got an idea for something that we want to shoot from the air. Do you think you can help us?" And it started a much deeper relationship with the magazine because I started doing a lot of aerial photography for them. So, but yeah, that really, the photography career was really where the storytelling stemmed from. And, as someone who grew up in the digital age, I tried to leverage social media and online blogs and online properties as much as I could to promote my work.
Okay. Now, what initially got you interested in photography? Was it something that you picked up as a kid, or maybe your parents encouraged you to take some pictures around the house, or how did all that get started for you?
In college, or actually going back further in high school, I was pretty involved in our video program. I had a teacher there, Mr. Zabrowski, who really got me involved in the editing and the filming process for LPTV, which was our internal TV program. So he and Mr. Regan, Steve Regan, they were the two teachers that oversaw that while I was there. Back when I started doing it, we were still filming to tape. Eventually we shifted over to, more digital means, there towards the tail end. But I did that before. I didn't really go to college thinking that that was going to be my route. But, I went to UT, and halfway through college, I landed in a photojournalism class for non-journalism majors, called J316 with a professor named, Dennis Darling. And, Dennis's class was fantastic. It was, again, for people who weren't planning to go into that space as a career, but it taught us how to use a camera, in a really basic way. You weren't just shooting everything on program or auto. You really learned everything about the aperture and film speed, et cetera. And we also learned on film. This was 2005, I think, and we were still shooting on Chrome slide film. And we would shoot our assignments every week, and then we had to take it down, get it developed, check all of our slides with our loop, and do all the work that people weren't really doing as much back then. So that was what started it. The work itself of being a photographer was really more a means to an end of wanting to make a living after school and figuring out that I was pretty good at taking pictures. And so I started doing it for fun, and a few people started hiring me, and it kind of went from there.
So did you start a full-blown photography business, or did you go another route and just kind of do this on the side and maybe as a side gig?
No, the type of work that I was doing, which was more in the advertising and editorial space, it's a business in that it's you. They're
Right.
hiring you for like JB Sauceda. But no, that was pretty much exclusively what I did after school. I focused on that. I had to do some other odds and ends around graphic design and web design to kind of make ends meet for a while. But I had a few great mentors that really coached me early on into, how to make a business out of it and how to price things and all of that. And then it slowly built from there.
Okay. Now, ironically, I was in Austin around the same time, 2003 to 2008. And
Hmm.
of course, it's changed a lot now, but back then, 15, 20 minutes going out west on 290, and you're out in Central Texas and you've got all this landscape and everything else. What did you like taking pictures of the most when you were out there? Was it people early on, or was it a little bit of everything?
Portraits are where I started because I just really like talking to people. And
Hmm.
so when I was in college and got a camera, a lot of my subjects were just my friends. And so then, as I was buying lights and playing with those, I would again ask friends, hey, can I take your picture? So I started that way. When I was going out into the world, I wouldn't, I was a little bit more averse to just asking a random stranger if I could take their picture. I have some of that type of work, but largely it was the environment. It was like the spaces that people inhabited. So going to Louis Miller's barbecue in Taylor, Texas, and photographing all the old business cards on the wall, or going to South Texas and photographing some of the posters and things on the wall outside the La Especial Bakery, in San Benito, Texas. The little like slices of life, the things that the kind of like effects that we have on the environments that we inhabit.